Okay, more sized cation and less sized anion. This combination gives more ionic. More ionic. Reverse is more covalent. Second point, low charge on both ions gives more ionic. Low charge on both ions gives more ionic. Next, third case, inert gas configuration gives more ionic. Pseudo inert gas configuration is more covalent. Pseudo inert gas configuration is more covalent. It is the way to predict more ionic and more covalent. Okay, so reverse concept is more covalent. Reverse concept is more covalent. Okay, so finally, these are the Fuzzen's rules. These are the Fuzzen's rules. So see here, Na plus Mg plus 2, Al plus 3. Which ion gives more covalent compounds? Which ion gives more covalent compounds? Yes, yes, yes. Which ion gives more ionic compounds? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So next one. So simple concept. So up to now, is there any doubts? Up to now, is there any doubts? Okay. So I'm going to change topic. I'm going to change the topic. So about this ionic compound. Now, just a minute, my boys. Wait a few minutes. Sorry, boys. See here, our next topic is that is drawbacks of దాంట్లో ఉంచు దాంట్లో పౌచ్ లో పేపర్ ఉంటుంది చూసుకో. Drawbacks of octet rule. Drawbacks of octet rule. So what is this octet rule? Elements having 8 electrons in their outermost orbits are stable. This is the rule. Those elements having 8 electrons in their outermost orbit are very, very stable. Okay. So some compounds follows this rule and some compounds not follows this rule. Okay, so see here where it is possible, where it is not possible. So our Lewis causal theory is totally based on this octet rule, but octet rule is not followed by all the compounds available in our reaction. So what is that? See here, first for example, there is a CH4 molecule. There is a CH4 molecule. One bond is equal to 2 electrons. Octet rule is applicable for central atom, my dear boys. Octet rule is applicable for central atom. So carbon with hydrogen. So see here, here is one bond. One bond means 2 electrons. So total 4 bonds, 4 twos, 8 electrons at the central atom. It follows octet rule. It follows octet rule. Now BCl3. BCl3. Here only 3 bonds are there. Only 3 bonds are there, having 2 electrons. How many electrons here is there? 6 electrons. 6 electrons. Here 8 electrons at the central atom. 8 electrons at the central atom. Here 6 electrons at the central atom. That means less than 8 electrons. Less than 8 electrons. So that means this molecule doesn't follow octet rule, but it is stable. It is stable, no doubt. But it is not following octet rule. That means this molecule contains less than 8 electrons at the central atom. That type of molecules are called as electron deficient molecules. Deficient means less than. So electron deficient molecules. Those molecules having less than 8 electrons at their central atom are called as electron deficient molecules. So see here, that is PCl5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bonds are there. But that means 5 twos, 10 electrons at the central atom end. 10 electrons. It is greater than 8 electrons. That means, so more than 8 electrons are required. That type of molecules are called as electron rich molecules. Electron rich molecules. So electron deficient, electron rich. Deficiency means the shortage. So less than 8 electrons deficient, more than 8 electrons rich molecules. So what about this one? So SF6. This SF6 has 6 fluorines connected with sulfur and so sulfur has 6 bonds. 6 bonds means 6 to 12. So therefore, it is 12 electrons at the sulfur. Therefore, is this rich molecule or deficient molecule? Yes, it is a rich molecule. That means some molecules in our chemistry follows octet rule, but some are not follows octet rule. But most of the cases follows this rule. So most of the cases follows this rule. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. Okay. So this is octet rule, following or not following cases. Following and non-following cases. So having less than 8 electrons, electron deficient molecules. Having greater than 8 electrons, that is electron rich molecules. Exactly having 8 electrons, so electrons that follows octet rule. These compounds not follows octet rule. These compounds not follows octet rule. Okay. So these are very, very important points towards octet rule. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. So this is nothing but having exact 8 electrons, electron precise molecule. So sometimes this is called as electron precise. Electron precise molecule. Electron precise molecule. Okay. H1 Sai, what is your problem? S1 Sai, what is your problem? Yes, I will send today's notes. You don't worry. S1 Sai, what is your problem? Is this class already in market? Those who don't want to listen to classes, please go out from my class. Those who don't want to listen classes. Don't disturb me and others. My disturbance is a disturbance for all of you. My disturbance is disturbance to all of you. That decreases the efficiency of teaching classes, teaching efficiency. That is a very that is almost very too much problem to you. So efficiency of class automatically disturbed. Automatic number of examples automatically, that is, I'm not explaining it. Now, what are the properties of this covalent ionic compound? So, what are the properties of these ionic compounds? See here. So, properties of ionic compounds. So, first point, ionic bond formation is non-directional. Ionic bond is non-directional. That means I am taking Na plus ion here. So there is a Cl minus ion. So automatically that is attracted to Na plus ion. If Cl minus ion placed here, it is also attracted. So but here Cl minus ion here, so it is also attracted. That means at anywhere the bond is possible. It is not a particular direction. Only in this direction I am going to attract. So in this other direction I am not possible. So this is not accepted in this case of ionic compounds. So in case of ionic compounds, so the attraction between cation and anion in any direction is possible. That is why non-directional, all directions are acceptable. Ionic bond formation is non-directional. Ionic bond formation is non-directional. It is very, very important. Okay, because it is non-directional, some special properties towards directional bonds are not applicable here. That means, so ionic compounds not exhibit, ionic compounds not exhibit isomerism. Ionic compounds not exhibit isomerism. Isomerism means, so directional bonds gives that isomerism. That means the covalent compounds are generally give isomerism concept. That isomerism concept I will explain, that is in particular organic chemistry, not here. So there is a lot of syllabus is there. So in short, it is not possible to explain. The concept of isomerism is based on the directional nature of the bonds. So because it is non-directional, isomerism concept is not applicable. So ionic compounds doesn't follow ionic compounds. Sorry, isomerism doesn't give isomerism. But they are, ionic compounds are isomorphic. Ionic compounds are isomorphic. Okay, so isomerism, this is also available in your 10th class a little bit, but it is not possible to hear at this time. So see here, my dear boys, that is, yes, same formula, different structural arrangements. So same formula, different structural arrangements. So ionic compounds are isomorphic. Isomorphic means same crystal structure. Ionic, same crystal structure. So they are, so generally ionic compounds can form solid compounds. And generally, ionic compounds are solid cells, just like our table salts. Our table salt, NaCl. NaCl is example to ionic component. Our table salt is nothing but a solid. Okay, so those solids have some structures in. Some structures. These some of the structures are same cases. So different ionic compounds have yes, voice is clear. So my voice is audible to you, my dear boys. Yes, okay. So isomorphic means same structure, same crystal structure. Isomorphic means the same crystal structure. It is very, very important. Next point. Ionic compounds involved reactions are very fast. Ionic compounds involved reactions are very fast. Those ionic compounds involving, that is reactions involving ionic compounds are very, very fast. See here, let us take aqueous NaCl solution plus aqueous AgNO3 solution. This is also aqueous, that gives, so this Ag plus ion and this Cl minus ion is ready to give, that is AgCl precipitate plus NaNO3 is the component. NaNO3 is the compound. This is ionic compound, this is ionic compound. This is taking place within fraction of seconds. All ionic reactions are very fast. All ionic reactions are very fast. So covalent compounds involved reactions are slow. Covalent compound involved reactions are slow. Next point. Ionic compounds having high melting and boiling points. Ionic compounds they have high melting and boiling points. Okay. So wait, Aditya, I'm explaining everything. You don't worry. High melting and boiling points. Next one. So in solid state, ionic compounds are bad conductors of electricity. So in solid state, it is important, boys. In solid state, ionic compounds are bad conductors. They doesn't carry current through them. They doesn't carry current through them. For example, in our table salt, crystal salt. So crystals are there. So those crystals doesn't have free ions. In solid state, free ions are not available anymore. So generally current carrying particles are free ions. Those free ions are not possible. That is why these are bad conductors. But in molten state or fused state or aqueous state, molten state, fused state, aqueous state, and all these states are liquid stated, whatever it may be. Fused state means, see here, when ionic compound is strongly heated, solid ionic compound that converts into liquid, that is called as fused stated. Molten state means when by taking ionic compound and a plate something else, so leave for 2 days, automatically that solid NaCl slowly turns into liquid NaCl. So that liquid NaCl is called as molten state. Okay. So it is fused state, it is molten state. Aqueous NaCl means when NaCl is dissolved in water. That is aqueous NaCl. In all these three cases, free ions are possible. In all these three cases, free ions are possible. That is why these are good conductors of electricity. These are good conductors of electricity. Finally, ionic compounds in solid state are bad conductors. In fused state, molten state, or aqueous state, these are good conductors. These are good conductors because of presence of free ions. Free ions. Okay. So these are very, very important points, my dear boys. Very, very important. So these are some properties towards your ionic compounds. These are the properties of ionic compounds. Now, ionic compounds. See here, let us take an NaCl compound. So next topic towards this ionic compound. Aditya, post your doubts. I'm waiting for you. Aditya Srinivas, post your doubts. Waiting for you. I don't open your mute option. Post your doubts. That's enough to you. Yes, post it. Post it. Waiting for you. No doubt at all. Aditya, open it. That is, post it. ఇప్పుడు చాలాసార్లు చెప్పాను నేను ఓపెన్ చేయను, నువ్వు దయచేసి స్టార్టింగ్ లో నోట్ చెయ్యి అని చెప్తున్నా ఆదిత్య. ఇంకెందుకు అయితే హ్యాండ్ రైట్ చేస్తున్నావు? చెప్తుంటే అర్థం కాదా? Okay, next one. Are you writing or not, Aditya? Yes, okay. Ionic compounds are soluble in water because ionic compounds, so let us take NaCl, Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. Na plus ion and Cl minus. It is ionic component. Water, that is H2O. It has structure like this. So it is a partial negative charge, partial positive charge. It is a partial positive charge. It is also a polar component. It is also a polar compound. So it is a polar end. So polar ionic compounds are dissolved in polar solvent because water is a solvent. It is a polar. Why it is polar? Later we will explain. Water is a polar solvent. So that is why ionic compounds are soluble in water. But in alcohol or either or something organic solvent, these are non-polar solvents. These are non-polar solvents. In these compounds, ionic compounds are not soluble. Ionic compounds are soluble in polar substances, polar solvents, and not soluble in non-polar solvents like alcohol, ether, benzene. Okay, like these are non-polar compounds. So in these non-polar compounds, these are not soluble, but water is a polar compound, it is soluble. Okay, thank you, Aditya. Now our topic, it is very, very important, boys. It is very, very important. So, దయచేసి కొంచెం జాగ్రత్తగా వినండి. Very, very important. That is, lattice energy. Lattice energy. It is indicated the letter U. It is for ionic compounds. It is for ionic compounds. Lattice energy, it is applicable only for ionic compounds, not for covalent compounds. Only for ionic compounds. Now see here, what is this lattice energy? Before going to take that one, I will explain with an example. Okay, now see here, I want to try to form NaCl component. Solid NaCl component. So that is that we are using that in our table salt, as our table salt. Is that solid NaCl, solid or liquid? No doubt it should be in solid state. Now I want to prepare the solid NaCl compound from its ion. See here, in NaCl, there is Na plus ion, which is in gaseous state. See here, boys, it is in gaseous state. There is Cl minus ion, which is also in gaseous state. Cl minus ion, which are also in gaseous state. Okay, so these are very far away from each other. So these are very far away from each other. So to mention, there is no attraction, there is no repulsion between this Na plus and Cl minus ion. That much distance is there. That is taken as infinite distance. So at infinite distance, so those two oppositely charged ions I am taking. Now I am trying to bring those two close to each other. I am trying to bring those two ions close to each other. That means, so this ion moving this direction, this ion moving this direction. So that means they are approaching nearer to each other. When they are approaching nearer to each other, automatically, because it is positively charged ion, it is negatively charged ion, there should be some attractive force. There should be some attractive force. So at a certain distance, automatically the attractive forces so dominates. So therefore, automatically that Na plus ion and Cl minus ion gives NaCl compound, which is in solid state. That is in solid state. So how this NaCl solid is formed? It is by the attraction of, by the combination of oppositely charged ions, gaseous oppositely charged ions. So is there any attraction or repulsion between this Na plus ion and Cl minus ion? No doubt there is plus ion, there is minus ion. Between oppositely charged ions, there is an electrostatic force of attraction. So between them, there is an electrostatic attractive force. There is an electrostatic attractive force. That electrostatic attractive force is nothing but our ionic bond, my dear boys. That is nothing but our ionic bond. So there is an electrostatic attractive force. That electrostatic attractive force brings those two ions so close to each other. Automatically, NaCl compound is formed. So that too in solid state. This formed solid NaCl compound is called as a lattice. Lattice, simply called as crystal lattice. Lattice NaCl is formed. Solid NaCl compound is called as lattice NaCl. So once again, I am explaining, my dear boys. So there is Na plus ion and there is Cl minus ion. They are very far away from each other. They are very far away from each other. There is no attraction, repulsion between them. That means, so no influence by one another. Now they are approaching nearer to each other. So when they are approaching nearer to each other, automatically there should be attractive forces. Because of those attractive forces, they are strongly attracted. Because of the strongly attraction, so there is a solid NaCl compound is formed. There is a solid NaCl compound. That formed solid NaCl compound is called as lattice or crystal lattice. So this solid NaCl compound is the force of attraction between this Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. Where there is attraction, there should be energy released. So during this process, during the formation of this lattice, something energy may be released. Because why, sir? Why the energy is released? Because there is an attraction between them. Where there is an attraction, there should be something energy is released. So because of this attractive force, some energy released. Because of that attractive force between the oppositely charged ions, some energy released. Okay, so therefore, something energy is released. Something energy is released during the formation of this solid NaCl compound from its oppositely charged ions. Okay, now I am taking 1 mole Na plus ions, 1 mole Cl minus ions. The combination of this 1 mole Na plus ion and 1 mole Cl minus ion gives 1 mole NaCl. During the formation of this 1 mole NaCl, something energy is released. This released energy is nothing but lattice energy. That released energy is called as lattice energy. What is lattice energy? That is the amount of energy released. My dear boys, it is released energy. It is exothermic process. Energy release process are called as exothermic process. So that is the amount of energy released when 1 mole ionic compound, solid ionic compound is formed. When 1 mole solid ionic compound is formed from its oppositely charged 1 mole ion. From its oppositely charged ions. Okay, see here, I'm writing the definition for this lattice energy. So lattice energy, what is this lattice energy? So the amount of energy released when 1 mole solid ionic crystal lattice is formed. One mole solid ionic crystal lattice is formed from its oppositely charged ions. Charged gaseous, these are gaseous ions. Oppositely charged gaseous ions is called as a lattice energy. Is called as lattice energy. What is lattice energy? That is the amount of energy. That is the amount of energy released because of this attraction. When 1 mole solid ionic compound, solid ionic crystal lattice is formed from its oppositely charged gaseous ions. That energy is called as lattice because the former one is called as lattice. So during formation of this lattice, something energy is released. That released energy is called as lattice energy. That released energy is called as lattice energy. So that is the amount of energy released when 1 mole ionic compound, solid ionic compound, lattice ionic compound is formed from its oppositely charged gaseous ions. That is the lattice energy. So is there any doubt, boys? Is there any doubt up to now this lattice energy concept? Did you understand the lattice energy? Is the lattice energy released energy or absorbed energy? Harsha? Is the lattice energy released energy or absorbed energy? Harsha? Yes, released. Yes, released. No doubt. So when it is this during the formation of 1 mole ionic compound or more than 1 mole ionic compound? 1 mole ionic compound or more than 1 mole ionic compound. It is always for 1 mole ionic. It is fixed to 1 mole ionic. So when it is on 1 mole, during that energy is called as only lattice energy. If 2 moles is formed, so divide that one into 2. So that gives 1 mole energy. That 1 mole energy is called as lattice energy. Okay. So simplify. So see here, I am writing one more time. So, my dear boys, generally solid ionic compounds are called as lattice compounds. Ionic compounds are only called as crystal lattice. Generally, those ionic compounds are formed from their oppositely charged ions. For example, for cesium chloride, cesium plus ion and Cl minus ion. For NaCl, Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. These ions which are in gaseous stage. These ions which are in gaseous stage. Let us take this is Cl minus ion, this is Na plus ion. They are far away from each other. There is no attraction repulsion between them. Now it is 1 mole, it is 1 mole. I'm trying to approach, bring these two ions to nearer it. When a certain distance is there, automatically they are strongly attracted. Automatically they are strongly attracted. Because of this attraction, something energy is released. That released energy during the formation of this solid NaCl compound, lattice compound, is called as lattice energy. So this formed ionic compound is 1 mole ionic component. When 1 mole ionic compound is formed in solid state from its oppositely charged ions is called as lattice energy. Is this clear? Is this clear? What Manoj? What Manoj? Manoj. Now the concept is clear. This is for you only. I am explaining it. Manoj, tell me. Yes, good. Okay. Now see here. I am explaining reversely. Reversely, I am explaining it. See here. There is 1 mole NaCl component, which is in solid stage. There is Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. There is 1 mole Na plus and Cl minus ions are there. Okay, this is solid component. Now I am trying to separate. Now I am trying to separate this Na plus ion and this Cl minus ion. So this Na plus ion and this Cl minus ion. So I am trying to separate. So to a distance of infinite. So now this Na. So I am trying to separate these two to a distance, that is Na plus ion, which is in gaseous state, Cl minus ion, which is also in gaseous state. Na plus ion and Cl minus ion, gaseous state. Between them, no attraction, no repulsions are there. That much distance I separated these two elements, these two ions. Okay. For this purpose, is energy required or energy released? Tell me. For this purpose, is energy required or energy released? Now I am trying to separate these two ions to an infinite distance. Infinite distance means, yes, infinite distance means there is no attraction and repulsion between them. How much substance is taken? 1 mole substance. Yes, my boys, all of you correct. All of you correct. Yes. So this is the energy required. There is a requirement of something energy to separate 1 mole lattice ionic compound, 1 mole solid lattice ionic compound into its oppositely charged ions to a distance, to an infinite distance. That required energy is also called as lattice energy. That required energy is also called as lattice energy. So what is lattice energy? That is the amount of energy required. That is the amount of energy required when 1 mole ionic compound, solid ionic compound, when 1 mole solid ionic compound is trying to separate into its oppositely charged ions. So to an infinite distance is called as lattice energy. It's called as lattice. So this is the required energy. So solid to ions, gaseous ions, required energy. Gaseous ion to solid, so there is an attraction, energy release. So both are lattice energy. So magnitude is the same, but released energy is now supplied. Automatically they are far away from each other. Automatically they are far away from each other. So if released energy is equal to the released energy now is applied, automatically the solid is converted into gaseous ion. Okay, so there it is released energy, that is negative, exothermic. Now it is applied energy, that is positive. It is endothermic case. So but magnitude value is the same. Magnitude value is the same. So both cases are considered as lattice energy. So generally we are taking releasing energy. Generally we are considered released energy. Okay, so finally I am telling once again, so what is lattice energy? That is the amount of energy released when 1 mole ionic solid compound is formed from its oppositely charged ions. From its oppositely charged ions is called as oppositely charged gaseous ions, not charged ions. Oppositely charged gaseous ion is called as lattice energy. Now I am trying to calculate lattice energy of this NaCl. Now I am trying to calculate lattice energy of this NaCl. Okay. So now Satvik, what is your doubt? Satvik, what is your doubt? Proceed. Satvik, proceed. Yes, yes, Satvik. Shankar, yes, it is correct. Both released energy and absorbed energy. Released energy magnitude value is equal to absorbed energy magnitude value. Released is negative, absorbed is positive. But magnitude value is same. Both cases are considered as lattice energy. Satvik, waiting for you. Proceed. Waiting for you. Proceed. Are you writing or not? First of all, tell me. Okay. I am trying to calculate lattice energy of NaCl. Absorbed is positive, released is negative. Absorbed value is positive, released value is negative. So if see here, at anywhere energy is absorbed, the process is called as endothermic process. At anywhere energy absorbed process is there, that is endothermic. Ionization energy, all those are completed like this. Okay. So now if energy is released, that is called as exothermic case. So in this case, delta H, change in enthalpy, is equal to positive. In this case, delta H is the negative. So absorbed towards system and absorbed means towards us is positive. Released means away from us, away from the process, that is the negative. Away from us is released, that is negative. Towards system is positive, that is delta H terms we will explain. So what is the delta H? That is nothing but change in enthalpy. That concept is will explain in thermodynamics topic, not here. Okay. So now I am trying to calculate. Lattice energy of NaCl. So now I am trying to calculate lattice energy of NaCl. Lattice energy of NaCl, which is S. So lattice energy is indicated with the letter U. Lattice energy is indicated with the letter U, and there is a symbol for lattice energy. Okay. See here, NaCl compound. So what is this? How to calculate this lattice? Lattice energy is calculated by using Born-Haber cycle. By using Born-Haber cycle, lattice energy of ionic compounds we are calculating. So lattice energy of ionic compounds are calculated based on Born-Haber cycle. It is one of the methods to calculate lattice energy. So in our syllabus, this Born-Haber cycle is there. So Born-Haber cycle for lattice energy calculation. So for any ionic compound, lattice energy is calculated with the help of Born-Haber cycle. Next, the principle involved in Born-Haber cycle is Hess law. The principle involved in Born-Haber cycle is Hess law. Hess is the scientist name. He proposed a law that is called as Hess law. So by using this Hess law, so this Hess law is applied for Born-Haber cycle. Using this Born-Haber cycle, we are trying to calculate lattice energy. That means if you want to apply this Born-Haber cycle, you must know about this Hess law. What is this Hess law? So that is called as Hess law of constant heat summation, which is also called as Hess law of constant heat summation. See, my dear boys, simply I am taking this one. So the concept once again I will explain in thermodynamics. Okay, that is thermodynamic part. So just briefly I am explaining here. See here. Now I want to change a compound. A is the compound. I am trying to change this A compound into Dn. A is trying to change Dn. So A change it to D. It is a chemical reaction. In any chemical reaction, something energy may be released or absorbed. The released or absorbed energy are explained on the basis of delta H terms. Delta H term. So it is the way to convert A into D directly. But there is another way to convert that A into D, but indirectly, not directly. Here A directly change it to D. But so in another way, so A first of all change it to B. Not D. My target is Dn. B then change it to C. C then change it to Dn. So starting is A, final is D. So in one step, A directly change it to D. But in another way, A not directly change. First A change it to B, B change it to C, C change it to D. Okay, so this is indirect path. Indirect path to convert that A to D. This is direct path. Direct path. So A to B conversion is also once again a chemical reaction. Okay, for this delta H1 is the change in enthalpy. B to C is one more chemical reaction, another chemical reaction. Here delta H2 is the released or absorbed heat energy. C to D is one more chemical reaction. It is completely different. So delta H3 is the enthalpy changes. Okay, according to this Hess law, direct step enthalpy value is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy values. According to this Hess law, direct step enthalpy value, that is the delta H, is equal to sum of the multiple step enthalpy values, that is delta H1 plus delta H2 plus delta H3. This is Hess law. So now I'm trying to state this Hess law. Whether a process is completed either in a single step or in multiple steps, whether a process completed in a single step or in multiple steps, the total change in enthalpy. So this is the change in enthalpy in direct step. This is the total change in enthalpy in the indirect step. The total change in enthalpy in direct step and in multiple steps is equal. So that is why these two are equivalent. Whether the process is completed, whether the change occurs in a single step or in multiple steps, whether a change is occurred in a single step or in multiple steps, the total heat change or the total enthalpy change during the process is always constant, whether it is in a single step or in multiple steps. That means direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. Direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. It is Hess law. Is there any doubt? ఒక ప్రాసెస్ డైరెక్ట్ గా కంప్లీట్ అయినా ఇండైరెక్ట్ గా కంప్లీట్ అయినా డైరెక్ట్ స్టెప్ లో రిలీజ్ అవుతున్న ఎనర్జీ ఇండైరెక్ట్ స్టెప్ లో రిలీజ్ అవుతున్న ఎనర్జీస్ యొక్క సమ్మేషన్ వాల్యూకి ఈక్వల్ అవుతుంది. డైరెక్ట్ స్టెప్ లో ఎంత రిలీజ్ అయింది లేకుండా అబ్జర్వ్ అయింది. సో డెల్టా హెచ్ ఇండైరెక్ట్ స్టెప్ లో H1 plus H2 plus H3 ఈ మూడింటి వల్ల సమ్మేషన్ వాల్యూ ఈ వాల్యూకి ఈక్వల్ అవుతుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ క్లియర్. ఇట్ ఈస్ Hess law. He observed the concept. That's why it is called as that is as per his name, Hausdorff constant heat. Heat is always constant, whether the process is direct or indirect. Okay, so is there any doubt? So later I'm using this Hausdorff concept in Bohr-Haber cycle, and that is why I described it here. That is why I explained here. Direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. Direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. Delta means the change. Yes, change. Final value minus initial value. So that is explained. That is we explain in. That is a thermodynamics topic, not here. Delta just we feel delta as a change in it. So H means enthalpy, change in enthalpy. H means change in. So if delta H is negative, that is exothermic process. If delta H is positive, that is endothermic process. So these are the important conditions. Conclusions. Change in enthalpy. That is the delta H. Okay. So by using this Hausdorff, we can calculate lattice energy by applying this Born-Haber cycle. By applying this Born-Haber cycle. So up to now, is there any doubts? Up to now, is there any doubts? No. So tomorrow, so my dear boys, tomorrow I will clarify. I will calculate this lattice energy. I will clarify this lattice energy. Okay, at the beginning. So there are number of problems are there. Number of problems are there. Okay. So first of all, complete up to now. Notes మొత్తం మీకు. So notes already I sent it in your Google Classroom. Our Google Classroom already there. They will open at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, automatically it will open. So first of all, read the concepts. Some bits are also already posted in assignment area. Some bits also posted in assignment area. Please solve those bits. Ask your doubts in WhatsApp. Read those topics in classroom. Ask your doubts in WhatsApp. Okay, so that is important. మా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నోళ్ళు ఉండండి, మిగతా వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళొచ్చండి. హ్యావ్ ఎ నైస్ డే మై డియర్ బాయ్స్. Have a nice day.